in studio with Dr. Theresa Nicassio. I called her Navarro earlier, which is just, she's like, Italian's Italian.
I love it. Navarro's nice.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Now, you are the author of a cookbook called Yum. It's a vegetarian, vegan, and a bunch of other things. What was your inspiration behind the cookbook?
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much. So, yes, it was not planned because I didn't even like to cook. People say, oh, this is like you're living your dream.
Yeah.
No, I didn't like to cook. And when I did cook, I never followed a recipe. It was like, you know, and this was not my thing. But what happened was I became very, very sick. And I discovered it was a very long haul after being quite disabled, actually. I couldn't even walk a block. I had infections. I had tonsillitis for, 7 or 8 years straight, literally straight. Skin, everything. My lungs, I couldn't breathe. I was coughing violently every day. It was horrific.
Awful.
On every kind of med, I had this big packet of drugs, with the steroids and everything else, trying to manage chasing the tail. And it was only by accident that I discovered through Natasha Turner, she wrote this book called The Hormone Diet, which someone just happened to tell me, she said, oh, you love healthy stuff.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, why not? And within less than a month, I had my migraines that I had my entire life. I used to hit my head as a kid because my head would hurt so much. I was 45 years old when I discovered that the migraines were optional. All those years.
So let's talk about that, because that's the topic of this episode is bio-identical, come on, help me out.
Bio-individuality.
Individuality. Tell me more about that.
Yes, so basically we're all different. And so, you get 5 people. The popular thing right now is for people to say, this is the diet, whether it's vegan, paleo, low carb, you name it. And I don't know about you, but I'm really tired of having everybody tell you what to do. And it doesn't, I tried many different things and but everybody's got the answer. So this is actually, even though it won the best diet book in the world, it's like an anti-diet book. I don't believe in diets because I think that they take away our personal freedom, our personal power, and they remove us from listening to our own bodies.
Okay.
And that's where the information is, and that's what I discovered. I was doing what the doctors all said to do.
Well, you gave an example of, you look at animals, bears, cats, chickens, they don't eat the same.
No, and bears and cats are, they're 4-legged, but bears eat a lot of berries, and cats don't. We're all different, and so if we can honor that as a baseline, but in terms of discovering what works for us, sometimes it's really helpful to take a step back and remove the biggest, most common buggers for people. The gluten, the sugar, the
dairy,
dairy eggs, soy, corn, maybe nightshades. There's certain foods that seem to give a lot of people a hard time. So if you can remove those temporarily from your diet, and that's what elimination diet usually is.
Right.
Some are much more restrictive than others. I liked hers, it was pretty good. But you remove those, but when I first did it, I thought, if I don't eat those foods, what am I going to eat?
What's left for me?
What's
Nothing.
left?
Yeah.
How can I live without eggs and dairy and cheese? I mean, that cheese is a kind of an emotional one for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I went through this process of my own as a psychologist, experiencing those feelings and the confusion and even the longings for, like, I want those kind of food. And so by bringing that the wisdom I have as a psychologist, but also as someone who's experienced it from the inside, being very sick, and then going through the process of discovering and being able to then reclaim life. I didn't know I'd live to 50. I'm 53 now. I literally was just trying to stay alive so that I wouldn't leave my daughters motherless before they graduated high school.
Yeah.
That was my motivation.
Sure.
So if I couldn't eat, I discovered a lot of foods were problems for me, and so then I was like, well, what can I eat? And solution focused, as opposed to what can't I eat. And so then I started thinking, okay, what can I eat? And a lot of the stuff out there tasted terrible. It's getting way better now.
Yeah.
And at the age of 12, my oldest daughter decided to be vegan overnight within less than a week. And so we were on this journey together.
Sure.
And so that's really how it began, was to just actually create recipes to eat,
Yeah.
and then to share with other people. And then people were like blown away by how good it was, because they couldn't believe we were recreating some of the old standards that we, those comfort foods.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's not possible.
Right.
But I'm a scientist at heart, and so I was able to bring some of that to it.
Scientist meets chef. I'm going to say that if you are forced to, because it is usually forced to, go on an elimination diet, it can be a crazy journey. Go to Theresa, Dr. Theresa's website. You can get a copy of her book, and she'll help guide you through that elimination process. Thank you for being on the show, Theresa.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Doctor.